More. What is currently happening right now at Gallagher Estate?
Well, thank you very much, Tumi. It is indeed midway through the second day of the ruling party, the ANC's National General Council, a midterm policy review conference where they get to reflect on what they have done over the past 2.5 years. A short while ago, I spoke to the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Jesse Duarte, who is the de facto Deputy CEO of the organization. Just one, to get a sense of where things are today from the time they started in the morning, but secondly, to get a sense of how they feel as the people who have been running the organization about the fact that, as was reported yesterday and overnight and this morning, the fact that the ANC continues or seems to be losing a lot of members. From the figures were given yesterday, about 450,000 members of the ANC were no longer with the party for one reason or the other, which translates to about 37% of the party's membership, as was recorded the last time this happened. This is how our conversation went.
We'll now go into specifics. We, at 3 p.m. or shortly after perhaps, we'll start sectoral commissions looking at the economy, looking at rural development and agriculture, health, education, science and technology. And we look at more or less anything people want to discuss in the second half. And they will work from about 3:30 onwards to 9 p.m. tonight. What is very impressive is that our recorded number of participants yesterday, after the guests had left, was 2,400, just over 2,400. It's still the same today, which is an indication that people are here to stay the course.
Well, they may be here to stay the course, but one big buzz has been around the numbers.
Sure.
ANC numbers are going down at a relatively high speed.
I wonder if that is true. You know, I heard the excitement. We have a system in the ANC. So as at the 30th of April 2015, we cut the membership at that point, and that's the membership that we used for auditing our membership on the night of the 30th of April. That would have excluded people who had been joined the ANC just 6 months before, and it would exclude all members of the ANC whose membership expired after that particular date. All right, so if your membership expired, well, you didn't make it back in time to renew. So if you renewed in May or in June or in July and so on, you wouldn't be included in the figure of 765,000.
So we shouldn't read much into the 450,000 or 37% of the ANC membership that was said to have been obliterated.
I would be cautious. I'm just saying that. I went to the database earlier, and this is what I took off it. If we were to have a conference tomorrow morning and we cut off at 12 midnight tonight, in the database our membership is at 1.335594 million.
Which means what, grown marginally?
It has grown 115,537 since Mangaung. Of that number, 1.281732 would be deemed to be in good standing because they have renewed last night. So the ANC's membership will always fluctuate. We're not a trade union movement, but membership does not imply support. And over the years, that's exactly what has been shown.
I mean that distinction we made even in our reports yesterday, because I mean, while the ANC had over 1.2 million members the last time, more than 10 million people voted for it come the election. Right. But we attach particular significance to the membership issue primarily because these are your foot soldiers. These are the people who are going to go out there to mobilize people to go and vote for the ANC come next year's local government election, or for any other program for that matter.
In any army in the world, if you had 765,000, you're in good standing. You're in a good space to mobilize. But that's not the truth for the ANC right now. And as I said to you, membership fluctuates. It does not mean that our foot soldiers, as you call the members of the ANC, are less. People in the ANC understand the system very well. You speak to any of the regional secretaries or regional provincial secretaries, they'll explain this to you in a very detailed manner as well. It's the only manner in which we can determine membership in good standing for selection of delegates to a conference. It's the best and most honest mechanism to use. If your membership has expired, you must not be given the opportunity just to participate willy-nilly. You've got to be in good standing. You've got to renew your membership. And the message we want to get out there is get your membership renewed as soon as you, just 5 or 10 days before it expires.
Are you discounting completely a possibility that maybe some of the your regions and branches may have been jacked up in the run-up to this conference? In other words, they may not have processed membership applications on time.
I won't discount that, because in truth that had happened. People
does not worry you then?
It's a slight problem, and we've counted it in 8 what we call zonal areas. So that's not 53 regions. It is a difficulty. Second problem we've put out there, and the reason we can put things out very honestly is our confidence to correct it is there. Is that in some areas people had not gone out to remind people that your membership is expiring, so that they could keep the numbers at 110, 120, so that they could rate for a 50+1 branch AGM or BGM meeting, which is a requirement in our constitution. We've cautioned against that, and branches are now beginning to understand the difficulty that this puts them in. And when the president talked about gatekeeping, that's what he meant. That's exactly the difficulty that we must seek to overcome. And if you look at the ANC's, if you attend an ANC cadre forum in the country where any member can attend, the first thing that will be said is a complaint about gatekeeping. So how are we going to remedy that? We now have a very good membership system that will take away this need for any person to be recruiting members at a local level. People will receive a letter that says your membership expires in a month's time, renew. So it will take that form. We're able to, as we sit now, we're able to tell you exactly how many people are in the room, because we're using a particularly new system that barcodes our members, and it tells you my name, my ID number, and where I live, which branch I'm in, and in this particular conference, which commissions I'm in or not. So we're using that system to very, very effectively begin to follow up on our membership, and it's working for us.
Let's talk a little bit about members, and the gatekeeping.
What does it mean?
In very real and practical ways, how does this manifest itself?
There are very callous people in the world, throughout the world, and an organization like the ANC, which is a broad church, has its own cohort of people who join the ANC not because they believe truly in a national democratic revolution, but see the ANC as a vehicle to transport themselves into a higher position in life or become a politician. Now, people like that invariably have money, and what they do is they go and offer people to say, don't worry, I'll pay your membership for you. Our base membership are very poor people. Many of them earn low wages, and if somebody offers to pay your membership for them, people don't say no. We're saying that makes you a member of that particular individual. As hard as it is to pay the 20 Rand a year, It's not a lot of money. Pay it yourself because that's the integrity of your membership.
But is it that simple though?
It is because we do. It's like that. Or you find people who we've raised this very openly, and we're not afraid to do so. The concept of corporate capture of the ANC, where a business a business may have interest in a particular local or municipal area, and they begin by offering money to buy the membership, they offer cars, they offer all manner of things to people. And our basic principle is you must never allow yourself as an ANC member to be owned by anybody. It's as simple as that. And it can't be anything else, you know. 20 Rand a year, most of us can find it somehow, somewhere. And we're saying, make the means.
Is there no other way of dealing with it? I'm thinking of cases where if there's an ANC occasion, whether it's a big funeral or something in town, you see these youngsters at hotel lobbies where the leadership stays. You know, they leave there with bottles of whatever whiskey, single malt whiskeys, and they get given cars to run around. From where I sit, it's going to be extremely difficult to appeal to the conscience of that youngster who's going to live out there with a car and is going to have money and be able to entertain his friends and girlfriends and boyfriends. So isn't the onus really, or shouldn't the onus be on the ANC itself to be dealing with the people who are committing? The
reason we're raising it is because we are cracking the whip. And it's uncomfortable. It's not easy to do so because the notion that you can buy my conscience is a very serious notion. Now, let me just say before we make this a generalization and go out there and say all ANC young people walk out of places with bottles of whatever. That's not the truth. The truth is that we know this because people who've been made these offers are telling us. And that's how we know that. And that's why we're able to raise it and say, look, so-and-so, if you do that, you're in danger of putting the ANC into disrepute, and therefore you're in danger of losing your membership of the ANC, irrespective of who you might be. It's a real issue. And what we are concerned with is the generalization of it, to make the ANC itself appear as if it's an organization amoral in its content. And I think that is incorrect. That's why we have no fear when amoral issues are raised publicly. Those people must deal with it. They must own the problem. Part of it we will own by taking to our Integrity Commission, which has been given more power in September by the National Executive Committee. And you know, the ANC means business. This is the first NGC in a long time where we've been able to deal with the real organizational matters instead of dealing with the rambunctious ANC Youth League, instead of dealing with the conflicts of interest between various leaderships. We're not dealing with that here. We're dealing with our organization. We're looking in the mirror, and we're looking very hardcore at what the country needs to move forward. And I think that's the ANC in a fairly good space, I would say.
Well, ANC Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte giving us an update where things are today, but also speaking about that issue that has gotten everyone talking, the decline in the numbers of ANC members. Of course, something she disputes, saying that as of midnight last night, the numbers she read us, which was just over the last number we had, were actually the true numbers. Only that certain branches or structures actually didn't meet the deadline in the run-up to this NGC. Well, it remains to be seen as to what exactly is the state of affairs. But that's what she says. She should know better, for she is indeed the second in command when it comes to the people who are running that organization on a full-time basis, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for now. But a little later on, we will be bringing you interviews and views of other people, including premiers, as to what it is that they are doing in their respective corners across the length and breadth of our country to build this organization. We'll also be speaking to the ANC's alliance partners as to how they feel about the progress so far and whether they think that this particular gathering is indeed going to advance their cause. That's a little later on. For now, it's back to you, to me in studio.
Thank you so much, Vuyo, for that update. And I will, of course, cross back to you a little bit later on just for the latest and updates with your interviews. As you did mention, you will be having a conversation with different alliance partners. And I'm sure, of course, the country is very keen to know what their perspective is.